Now we are going to start with the reductionism, that is the part of reducing algorithms. Then it was reductionism keyword came into the 16th century when it was a complex systems are made and integrated of the different parts of components of a system. So various components are integrated and made together in the parts, and they make the whole complex system. So they define the possible parts could be defined in them, and the possible input over them, and how the parts are being interacting. So these are things which were being defined. Then the deterministic computational problems for the input are being defined. Then the aggregation of the results are being done for this whole complex systems. So this is what reductionism means, the sum of its part, you can say, or breaking up. So first of all, for understanding about the algorithms part, we need to understand what should be the general problem, what should be the input, and how the time complexity vary. So the time complexity of algorithm could be efficient algorithm, could be inefficient algorithm. Based upon polynomial time would be efficient algorithm, exponential time would be inefficient algorithms. For example, we had studied about the shortest path in a graph is basically easy problem because it can be solvable in polynomial time. Then the longest path could be also be find out, but it's hard problem, means it could be solvable in exponential time. Then is it simple path from x to y? It is, which is less than equals to m, is an easy problem, means it could be solvable in polynomial time. Is it simple path from x to y with weight greater than equals to m? It's a kind of hard problem, means it could be solvable in the exponential time. What is exponential and what is hard? So suppose there is a function of fn of complexity, and n could be taken as 10, 30, and 50. So n could be solvable, this function could be solvable in this much second, then 0.0003 seconds, then 50 could be solvable, n could be solvable in 0.00005 seconds. Then the fn, if it is some polynomial n to the power 5, then it could be solvable in, if there is 10 inputs are there, 30 inputs are there, 50 inputs are there. So the 10 input could be solvable in 0.1 second. 30 inputs could be solvable in 24.3 seconds. Then the 50 inputs could be solved with this n to the power 5 algorithm in 5.2 seconds. If the algorithm is of the complexity exponential, means 2 to the power n is exponential, then in the 10 number of 10 inputs are there, it's easy to solve, means it is even lower than this one. It is lower than this n to the power 5, and it is taking 0.001 second. But when you make n equals to 30, so 2 to the power 30 would actually take 17.9 minutes, almost 18 minutes. And when you have n equals to 50, so 2 to the power n actually creates more than 35 years to solve. So if the algorithm takes 35 years to solve, means it is of no use, because you don't have this much time to wait for the solution. When there is 50 inputs are there, means 50 times the algorithm should run, and it will take what, 2 to the power n, means 2 to the power 50, and it will take what, 35 years to solve. So it's not worth to solve. Then the decision problems. So we'll see the two type of problem: decision problems and optimization problems. So decision problems gives you what, yes or no, means it is solvable or not solvable, and what's the input, true or false, that type of algorithms. So in the most of the optimization problem can be rephrased in some decision problems, means they could make and transform to decision problem, means optimization problem can be transformed to decision problem, and with the same similar complexity. So what could be defined as decision problem? if some non-deterministic machine, Turing machine, could actually have the solution of a particular problem in a polynomial time, then it is a polynomial problem. If there is some polynomial time for the non-deterministic Turing machine, means it will set to be non-polynomial. Means if you have something, we had already seen something polynomial with deterministic Turing machine will be polynomial time, but polynomial time with non-deterministic Turing machine will be NP. So X belongs to NP if the it could be verified in polynomial time with a non-deterministic Turing machine. So we'll see what is non-deterministic Turing machine and how the X would look like. So given X are decision problems, so decision problems would actually taking what X as the algorithm, and X is our decision problem, and we are giving some instance as I, and the solution would be predicted by the particular means uh, particular algorithm, and the solution was again in the second step was being checked out whether that solution is correct or not correct. Then for each instance, means for whatever be the kind of input you have, and you have to do two things. One is guessing what would be the result, and second means checking whether that the prediction is correct or not. Means guessing part is belonging to the non-deterministic part. So guessing means non-deterministic. So if A and B both can be done in polynomial time, means guessing of a solution could be done in polynomial time and checking of a solution could be done in polynomial time, then X would be NP. So NP would be there. So this is what it means by NP. Then we'll see optimization problems. So in the optimization problems, we can repeat the algorithm X for different profits. Means there could be local minima, local maxima, global minima, global maxima. So we can find out what is local minima, local maxima, global minima, global maxima according to our problem definition of that optimization problem, so that we could reach out to the optimal solution. In some problem, local minima is the better one, global minima is the better one. In some problem, global maxima is the better one. So we try to search them. Then in the binary search, you have some of the optimal profits, means you have to maximize the this type of log of summation of pi run. So in the knapsack is the kind of optimization problem. So you want to what do? You want to either want to do minimum bound, means you want to calculate minimum, or you want to maximize the profit. So in the knapsack, you want to maximize the profit. So you keep on adding more and more content to the knapsack problem with the least with according to the capacity of that. So you want to search the optimal solution, means best one. Then the polynomial time reduction algorithm. So what are the polynomial time reduction algorithm? Suppose you have some instance inputs for a particular problem. Then you want to have the problem to be reduced, means you have some algorithm developed, you have written some coding for that algorithm, and you want to make a larger code, means you want to solve even difficult problem. So what you want to do, you want to use the existing code and you want to make larger code with that. So what is that? So in this figure, you want to solve the problem A. You want to solve the problem A, means problem A could be solved with the help of problem B. So you initially take some input of A, you try to reduce that algorithm with some uh, pre-processing code, and you generate some proper input that is required for the code of problem B, and then you can have some output generated by this polynomial time decidable B, and you generate some output. So we'll see in the next slide in terms of pre-processing and post-processing. So in this, actually, you have to suppose that there is a procedure that could be transformable, which actually takes some alpha instance, means input is alpha in the problem A, and some instance beta B or beta on the problem B. So you are having two instances, instance A alpha for A, capital A, and beta for capital B. Then you have a given instance A, and that you do the reduction of the particular algorithm and transform it to some beta, and beta would be given as input to the problem B. And because you already know the algorithm of this problem B, you can generate the output accordingly. Then you can run the whole process in polynomial time, and you can have this algorithm A solved with the help of algorithm B, and you can use the this beta to decide the answer for alpha. So next, if we'll see the next figure, then it would be more clear because it is related more towards algorithm and more towards what coding part. So you want to code an algorithm X, and you already have the code for Y. So you have the code for Y, and you want to code what? You want to code the X. Now you want to do some pre-processing, and you want to do some, this is pre-processing. This is pre-processing. So I can redirect it over here. This is pre-processing and this is post-processing. So this is pre-processing and this is post-processing. Now what you want to do, you want to code the algorithm X such that you have a given, this is already, you have the code for this. You have the code for this. Now you want to code X, and you do the some pre-processing and you do some post-processing, and you generate this, you write the code for this X. And for doing solving this coding part of X, you actually have the time cost for solving Y along with the cost of reduction. What is reduction? Reduction is these two, pre-processing and post-processing. So both pre-processing and post-processing take some time, and you might have multiple calls on this Y, and it will take some input size and some complexity for that. So this is how you do the reduction. So for example, in case of finding median, first you need to do what? Sorting. And if you had generated an array of sorted, then you just have to find out what is the middle element. And if you are able to find out the middle element, then you are able to find out the reduce the problem to the median. So this median part was being reduced and solved. Then thereafter, the distinct element that are need to be reduced and sorted out. So what you have to do? You have to do what? First, you need to again sort out the whole array, and you need to do what? You have to check for the parsing, means you have to parse and check the adjacency pair of the whole array. And adjacency pair, if they are equal, then you will say that yes, these are the equal, and these are not distinct, and you can find out the result. So in the first part, for finding the first example, for finding the median, this will actually required for the time complexity for the sorting, n log n, and you need constant time for the reduction. And this actually, you can find a middle element in constant time, so this is n log n plus 1. Then in for finding out the distinctness of an array, you have to do the sorting n log n. You can do this sorting in n log n time. So you can do this in n log n, plus you can do this adjacency pair check in n time, and because you have to run it for the n elements, then this algorithm of reduction could be applicable for these type of problems. There are various problems that are being mentioned over here and could be done for the reduction. So this algorithm is reduced from topological short. This algorithm has been reduced to negative cycle. This bipartite matching was been reduced to max flow. So this is how the reduction would take place. And what you say, if you know how to solve y, then you can develop the algorithm for x, and you can solve x based upon the known y. So you have already have code of y, and you can use the code of y to solve code of x. And this was being first introduced by Alan Turing. This Alan Turing was very famous for the no the prize you get in the most prestigious prize of ACM was named after him. And the this is he's one of the most reputed scientists of the old era of 1936. He published this on computable number with an application to the problem. Some this type of known problems means very famous computing problem was being published by him. Then this algorithm reduction is almost equivalent to the language transformation in theory of computation. So you have a given class P and deterministic Turing machine, then the decision problem X could be defined as polynomial time. If it could, we can make a deterministic Turing machine of it and solve that problem X with some deterministic Turing machine or deterministic algorithm or computer, that whatever you can say. Then the X is said to be P, polynomial time. Informally, if we say that if you can solve any algorithm in polynomial time, like in shortest algorithm, like in minimum spanning tree, we can solve it on polynomial time. So you can solve that problem. Then next, polynomial transformation could be denoted as this, and L1 is transformed to L2 means there is a polynomial time reduction that could be possible to transform L1 to some instance of L2. Means you can take the output of L1 to some input of L2, and you can generate the output. And then if L1 is transformed to L2, then L2 is in P. Suppose you have the information that if L1 is reduced to L2 and you have information that L2 is in P, then this implies that L1 will also be in P, and vice versa. Means if you know that L1 is not in P, this implies that L2 is also not in P. Then third case, that L1 transformed to L2 and L2 is transformed to L3. This means you can also transform L1 to L3 via L1, L2. So this is you can do if this is true. Then next we'll see the NP completeness and the Cook's theorem. Thanks. I hope that you like this part.